through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a bit peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Bendo with the switch again. Boy deliver like he heffinin'. Core with digits, give him estimates. Somersaults for my Benjamins. I got what you need, baby. Skirt the Chevy, make a scene, baby. LABB been the team, baby. Been Papa, word the G, baby. Look, labs till I'm finished. Had a handful of lemons through the hand. Got a bag, now the hands in the business. For my hand, it's a ticket. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I've been playing with the minutes that they been shoulda gave. And I'm flipping every digit that they been shoulda paid. Had to find a way to get it. Know this isn't what you made. If I ever wanna dip, then I'm brink with the blade. And I'm brinking a blink on the brink of some dumb shit. Watch how I move, cause I know the brink's coming. Watch for the blues, cause I know that they dumping. Nothing in my view, so it's hush on discussion. Hush on discussions, you know what you need to. I keep it in the fam to let you know that I don't need you. Y'all cats be see-through, heading out the piece. You been king, I'm regal, got it in my Abisu. Came through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a bit peace. Love is love. Love is love. Hold up with it, got my back on Pippin, bitch, I'm back in kitchens with the tray. Bitch, windows tinted like how black my skin is. Scoop the shorty in it from a J. Swish, she got vision just like any women giving me the kitten. Way before the riches, nothing more to mention. I could light a block of powder or a glisten. Foreign on my body, that's Agora linen. I came through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a bit peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Love is love. Love is love. Adios.
Hello.
Hello.
I always come in with the soft open and you...
Hello.
Hey, how's
Good
everybody?
morning, guys.
How's everybody doing?
How are people? I have coffee too. I'm sorry, immature draws. Good morning. You don't want coffee, but you need it.
I'm gonna flip us over to the screen. You got NDI and everything running?
Yes.
Yes, of
Definitely.
All right, here we go.
I do. Woo! I'm sorry, guys. I have coffee that I made with ice in it. I hope you don't mind me crunching ice. I know some people don't like that. I was hoping I would have time to drink it before we started streaming, but I didn't.
Oh, we've been on the waiting screen for like 15 minutes, so it's time.
Michael!
What? I did it.
What?
I started it when I got up.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you guys for waiting so long for us. The sound of the ice in my coffee getting swirled around.
Welcome to Doig and Swift ASMR, where we drink coffee and kick butt, and we're all out of coffee.
Kick butt ASMR. Really soft sounds of you punching a bad guy. Biff.
Biff.
How? Do you remember those old cartoons where they used to have like Biff?
What do you mean old cartoons? What do you mean?
You know, like the really classic Batman and Robin ones, where they would like have one pose with a moving head.
Yeah.
And then they would punch someone and it would be like, Biff!
Wow. I liked there was a Scottish comedian who was like talking about that, like the Batman kind of Adam West series sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, what if instead of using made up words, they just used like kitchen utensils? So he was like, dish, pan, what was it? Bowl, spoon. It made me laugh and I remembered it ever since.
That's pretty good. I think something I'm learning about comedians is what they say isn't actually that funny or clever.
It's how they say it?
Yeah, I think like there's nothing like someone telling you something a comedian said. To not you specifically.
There's nothing
just
like
in general.
Like you, Michael, relating to me the things that a comedian would say and demonstrating how unclever or unfunny it actually is.
It's not just you.
How unclever and unfunny you are, Michael.
No, not you. I'm not saying anything about you. I'm saying stuff about comedians in general.
Yeah, well, you could, like, a comedian could go like, well, I was walking down the street one day, and you'd be like, well, that's not funny.
Yeah.
We haven't got to the punchline yet.
No, but people tell you the punchlines, is what I'm saying. Is people tell you the jokes with the punchlines from comedians, and there's nothing like that to make you realise how much of stand-up comedy is in the delivery.
Yeah.
And, like, the way someone says something and the tone and, like, the body language they use.
Yeah.
It's really interesting though, because to me, like, it really shows you how much of like comedy comes from the charisma of the person who's delivering the line.
It's true.
Like, you have to get the delivery 100% right sometimes for a joke to land.
Also, the whole you had to be there.
Yeah, but I think that's part of why you had to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the delivery at the time was really good.
Someone who followed us 2 days ago is called Poom Poom.
It's called Poom Poom.
Yeah. 2 O's on the first one, like 4 O's on the next one.
Poom Poom!
Poom Poom!
Nice.
Yeah.
I am crunching, Elaine. I don't normally like to crunch in front of people because I know people don't like it. In fact, Elaine and me were D&Ding the other day, and I was muting to crunch my ice between the
Oh,
sips.
really?
Yeah, so you couldn't hear. What is Iron Brew? Elaine, what? You have to be joking. Iron Brew is a soda that is has popularity with some people and is kind of known for being more popular in Scotland.
It's an orange soft drink, popular in Scotland. I think it's from Scotland.
Is it meant to taste like iron? Is that why they call it iron brew?
I guess so.
Give us a good crunch. Are you sure you want it?
Here comes a yes. Thank you for the follow, CS Nancy. Welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club. How are you doing?
There you guys go. That's the kind of crunch that you're missing out on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't mind it. I don't know if people
Declan doesn't like
at
it.
home mind it.
Crunch. But yeah, my favourite soft drink is Dr. Pepper.
Really?
It's so good!
I don't think I've ever seen you drink Dr. Pepper.
Soft drinks aren't good for you. I try not to. Also, Dr. Pepper is really hard to find. It's a rare one. Like, I haven't seen it in any shops over here.
Ola, did you send it through the form? Or did you not send it through the form?
If you send it through the form.
You did send it through the form. When did you send it through the form?
Then it's probably on the list.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, 2 seconds ago. It might not be on the list yet then. But it will be.
Oh, will it now?
Well, I mean, I'm just doing an estimate based upon previous Animornings, but given what we normally get through about 7 a day, I'm guessing that this is going to be a 2-dayer.
Since I like Ola so much, I will go and download it specifically for him.
Bias.
Yeah.
Buffy has started
I've got
sleeping underneath my desk. There's a pillow on the floor, and she sits down there and curls up, and it's really cute. And sometimes I get to put my foot down next to her and feel her like warm fuzziness against me, which is really cute. But sometimes I forget she's there, and then I put my foot on her face, and she gets really annoyed with me. I did that the other day. I just put my foot down, forgetting that there was anyone down there, and it was like directly on her head, and she looked so annoyed at me. I'm sorry, Buffy.
She was being a flirt before I went to bed yesterday.
A flirt? What do you mean?
She just like, I was standing talking to Declan, and she like got up off of the cushion and came over, and then was just kind of rubbing her butt up against my leg, as cats do.
That's just an affectionate thing to do.
Yeah, but she was doing it for a while and purring and stuff.
She wanted affection. She gave her strokes and cuddles and stuff.
I also did the thing where you like do the hover hand above her head, and she like...
She booped it.
Yeah, she stretched up to get booped. I did it in front of Declan, and he almost cried.
That's really cute.
He didn't almost cry, but he thought it was very cute.
This is After Effects? No, this is Sketchfab. It's a program where you can upload animated anything. So you can upload live action anything, actually. You can upload movies to it, essentially.
Yeah.
Movie files, and then you can draw over them and go through them frame by frame.
I'm not sure if you realize this, but everything's ready for you and just waiting for you to start.
Not Sketchfab. Damn it! It's Sync Sketch. Damn it! Every time.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah, thank you guys.
I thought Sketchfab was the funny one.
Everything is Nan says Doig. Just because a cat shows affection, it doesn't mean she's flirting with you.
All right, okay. You're gonna you're gonna.
Yeah. This is just shaming the cat for flirting.
She was
with
giving
you.
me come hither eyes. She was like, you know you want to feed me, right?
Okay, Mike. I believe you. I'm gonna start. Oh, I should say before we start, what the challenge was. It was to animate a character picking up and then dropping a weight or an object with weight, and the object could be light or it could be heavy. That was what we decided, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Just checking I didn't get it muddled in my brain. Let's have a look. So this is from Sai, who is at Rain Sairu. Yo, let's go.
What?
It's just this music. Can you turn it up a bit so I can hear it better? Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I can tell it's heavy. That's awesome. Nice action on the tail as well. Alright, let's have a look at what this thing says at the end. Sorry, my first pass is messy and bad. You tried! Hey, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it being messy. This is something that people are generally doing in 3 hours or less, so it's like totally cool. You did a whole bunch as well. It's really long. 288 frames. But it says it's really heavy. Yeah. You can really see the weight. That's awesome. Like, the thing which I would give critique on, I think, is the grip they have on the box. The way that they're picking it up feels like you wouldn't really be able to get your full your muscles and your body behind it in the way that they're currently trying to pick it up. Like, it feels quite unbalanced the way that they're trying to pick it up. Like, they won't be able to get much strength into their arms that way. So, do tell me if you see anything as well, Mike.
I will, yeah.
Ah, here I am. There I am with the purple. So it currently feels like your character is picking it up like this.
In the notes they gave, they said, I don't do full body stuff enough, so I'm happy to be forced to do it more.
Good. I should put a little note at the beginning actually for when they first click on the thing to say this is excellent. This is excellent. Most excellent. I can really tell it's heavy.
I just noticed that Ollie, when he submitted, he wanted to be known and referred to as Poopy McPoopface.
Ah, Poopy McPoopface, our old friend. How have you been doing, Poopy? How's life treating you, Poopy? We should all have, like, nicknames in that vein. Poopy McPoopface and Barf McBarf Butt.
Barf McBarf Butt.
That would be mine.
Oh no, don't make me think about things like that.
And Peabody.
Love it.
Which is a real name, so I'm sorry for anyone who's called Peabody. So yeah, back to what I was saying. This position is kind of unstable. And not super strong for picking up something with, especially if it's heavy. There must be a better way to say that. Not efficient for picking up heavy object. I mean, you can totally still have your character trying to pick something up like this because maybe the character doesn't understand how to pick up boxes. You know, there could be many reasons for a character trying to pick up a box like this. But if you're looking for a way to show the box is super heavy, having the character put their entire weight behind it and still not able to really move it would really show that.
Yeah.
So, for one thing, I'd be tempted to hook the character's hand actually underneath the box, rather than have it just at the sides.
Yeah, how the character positions themselves before attempting to lift shows their foreknowledge of whether the box, how heavy the box is. Like if maybe having something where it doesn't look like they think it's going to be heavy, you try and lift in a bad position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's bad box lifting etiquette. You should always overestimate your box.
Always overestimate your box.
Yeah.
It sends you flying.
Always lift with your maximum strength. Then
Always lift with your maximum. I like that. It's in the vein of always punch with your maximum strength. Even if you're fighting a child, it's insulting for you to use anything less than your maximum strength.
Yeah, you have to show the box respect.
Exactly. You're showing you respect the child by giving the child your maximum strength.
Hey, I'm only talking about boxes here.
I know, I'm talking about children.
You're talking about punching children,
I am.
There's a whole other etiquette
Which
to that.
you shouldn't do. There you are, you see, disclaimer, don't punch children. But if you're going to, punch them with your full strength. Because it just shows respect.
In that one exception to the rule, full strength.
Don't do it, guys. I'm not endorsing punching children.
Never find yourself in a situation where you must punch a child. But if you are, punch it with everything you have.
I'm assuming that if they're in a situation where they have to punch a child, it's probably a pretty dire situation, since the rule number 1 is don't punch a child. So, like, a better box lifting position, one which would engage like more of your core into it, would be the box hug, as I like to call it. Which is when you place your feet either side of the thing you're trying to lift. And then lift it like that, so you can kind of get your core engaged into it.
Yeah. Where do they go after the initial lift?
Okay, I'm just gonna bring their body over the top of the box more.
Yeah, you can see how in India's example, their center of mass looks like it's shifting over to be a combination between them and the box, as it should be.
There we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, essentially, like, I think one of the problems is here, the center of balance is here. Center of balance. Which means that when they try and lift the box, they're going to have to try and pull backwards with their back. Whereas here, the center of balance is over the feet, which means they can use their legs to lift as well. They can use more of their core strength, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I think we lost like 6 people by saying punch a child full force.
Well, you know, maybe those people don't have the strength to do what needs to be done when the time comes. That's fair. Mike and I would never punch a child. We would only talk about it. Only talk about punching them. We're all talk.
Oh, there's like, don't have children chat. Just a hot tip.
Definitely don't have them near us. So we have, let's see, we have an initial pull. And then we have them go in. And then we have these feet kind of slide across and pull here. I'm just going to say here, watch for sliding feet. Although if the other foot isn't moving, then it's kind of okay, to be honest. I'll say it anyway, just in case. Maybe it's a good note for them just to bear in mind. You can sometimes get away with sliding feet, and I am as guilty as anyone else for sometimes cheating it and having my feet slide when they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, feet can slide if in a number of circumstances. Usually it's when the weight is not on the foot, or the character is on an actual less friction surface.
Yeah, it can slide. If your weight is on the other leg, it can totally slide. Here the weight feels more central because of where the pelvis is.
Yeah, if you
could still cheat it.
Yeah, if you have your both feet slide out at the same time, it doesn't really work.
So this is like the position that we currently have. I hate it when the pen runs across on a straight line like that when I'm trying to draw a circle. Very frustrating. The shoulders forward, that shoulder is further back, and they're kind of leaning toward cam a little bit. They still don't feel like they're totally up against the box. They still feel like they're sitting back a little bit. You tell me if I'm getting this right, Mike, or if this feels wrong to you.
I think it feels, if the arms are fully outstretched, then it feels like they're further back from the box. Because they couldn't come towards the box and still have straight arms, otherwise they'd overshoot it.
Yeah, it feels kind of like this. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting it accurate, so I'm not changing to position to suit my feedback.
They're popping a squat.
It feels like that's the position, and in a position like that, again, the lift is going to be coming from your shoulders. So again, I'd be tempted to make that a little bit more efficient in terms of them actually lifting it up. Especially now they know how heavy the box is. Obviously, it's up to you if you want to use this kind of acting or not. You don't have to. This is subjective. I would definitely bring them flat against the box.
Orlando, I don't think punching children is going to solve COVID.
Yeah, I don't think children are the ones at fault somehow for COVID. And so bringing divine justice down upon them, I don't think is going to do anything to help the situation. You're just going to have a bunch of punched kids and a bunch of jail time, probably. I don't know if punching kids is illegal. It probably should be.
I think it is, India.
Good. That's good. I'm glad we're doing something right as a human species.
I don't know if there's a specific rule for whether you punch a child.
It must count as assault on a child or something, right? Assaulting a minor has to be.
I don't know, actually.
It has to be.
Punching anyone is assault.
Yeah. An assault's illegal, right? Is it illegal? We know the law.
I'm not answering that.
This is why I'm in danger of being arrested, is I don't know what's illegal.
Steps out the front door going, I wonder what the laws are today.
They change so often. So yeah, something like this. pull from shoulders. Shoulders. Oop. This allows you to engage core. Engage core. And use legs and back. And again, like, I'd just be tempted to hook the hand under the box, just because it feels like it'd give you more purchase. I understand you would have to then like either cheat that under the box earlier, or actually animate them getting the box up a little bit enough for them to loop their fingers underneath it. That just doesn't feel like a very strong grip. Like, when I think about lifting a box, my nightmare is lifting a box without being able to get my fingers underneath it. Just have my hands like starfish flat against the sides.
Yeah.
And try to lift it like that.
Yeah, you always want to get a little bit of purchase.
Yeah, and if not, I will cut a hole in that box so I can get my fingers inside it. So I'd be tempted to step that foot forward here maybe. Just to like really help them pick it up.
Yeah.
Because they want their center of gravity over the box as much as possible.
Yeah, which will increase the contrast, because I remember that foot goes out to the side as well. So if they brought it forward and then they lift and the center moves back with them, then they'll need to, it's more likely they'll need to take a step back to counter it.
Sorry about this foot, that's not very good, but hopefully you'll get the note is clear enough. Step forward. To position. Center of gravity. This is all just body mechanic stuff. And the body mechanics you've got are animated super well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, your character is really competently and nicely animated. It's just little things like these positions for picking up a box. I feel like it's more unnatural not to have the center of gravity more over the box. I feel like it's something humans naturally do when they're trying to pick something up. Like, you would have to force yourself not to.
Yeah, like they're showing the way that they're showing the way that the thing is heavy. And the motion and the timing, everything feels good, but it's like not doing it from observation, you miss out on some things that you might take for granted.
Yeah, so in this here, you can just have them step forward, and that will help them. And then that would be bent. Be like this. Or something. So having it fall into the chest like this makes it feel really heavy. Nice job. It's it's a frame like this where it feels like the box is more light because of the way the box is tipping backwards. Have them immediately start to tip the box into themselves so that they can carry that weight. Like they're preparing to catch it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I draw a box.
Yeah.
I probably made the box way bigger than it actually is here. Hold on. isn't it?
Okay.
Is that you okay telling me that I shouldn't spend any more time on this?
Yeah.
So I like this curve at the back. You've got some really nice poses going on. Just want to make sure that this is very clear and that I've drawn it well enough that you can really tell what's going on. So have box already tip into or already tipping towards body. Because otherwise, if it's tipping the other way, it feels like it's gonna fall out of the character's hands.
Gotcha.
Like if the weight is going backwards of the box,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like if it's that heavy, whatever is inside it is just gonna cause it to fall backwards out of the character's hands.
Gotcha.
Whereas this way, it's gonna fall forward, but the point is that the character's gonna catch it.
Makes sense.
It would not go over my head. I would catch it.
You quoting Drax?
I love Drax so much. He's so funny. He's like my favorite out of all the Space Avengers. That's the name, right?
Space Avengers.
The
Yeah.
Space Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it when they joined up with the Space Avengers.
Yeah, me too. I liked it when they blew up the Death Star. Let's see. Trying to catch it. Otherwise, it feels like it would tip backwards.
Tibbs is saying that they like this animation. It's got a really nice character shorthand too.
Yeah, agreed. I think the shorthand's real nice. I think all the acting and everything and the body mechanics are really competent here. By competent, I mean excellent. And fall out of their hands. I'm just trying to make sure I'm describing it fully just in case the animator can't watch these VODs. They can only read the feedback.
Okay.
Yep, and then we get falling into the chest. Really nice. Nice stumble backwards.
Then they're hugging it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then we have the drop where they like lunge forward and use the momentum to get into place, which is really nice. And the bend of the knees is real nice too. Like they're too afraid to drop the box. They just have to lower it to the ground. It's super nice, really nice.
The pop at the end is
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Cute.
Well done.
Yeah, excellent job. Really nice. Like the only thing I can really call out with this at this stage of the animation is just the positioning of the character feels a little anti it feels what's the word? Like it's going against what the character's trying to do.
Oh,
The body positions aren't
counter?
Yeah, the body positions feel counter to the aim of the character. In the aim being to pick up this very heavy box, and the body positions not being the most efficient way to do that. So maybe just look at that again. Look at those poses, but like you definitely conveyed the feeling of weight, which is super cool. All your spacing is really nice. Like the character feels consistent all the way through, which is really nice. Like thank you for the floor grid as well. Super cool. Yeah, I think if you were gonna take this any further and prove this up, then it's a really solid foundation.
In the challenge this week, I said be mindful to include a ground plane as a perspective grid,
Nice.
so that folks knew to do that.
Nom 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 nom. Ice.
Ice.
Ice, ice, baby.
There you go.
But yeah, amazing job. Really, really, really like the animation.
Alrighty, on to the next one.
Okay. Andre! This is Andre.
Andre, cool.
Do we have a social media for Andre
Um,
on your list? And did they say anything before we look?
their social media is An19, so AHN19, and they said, I think I learned to take advantage of frame reuse to convey solid form, and I struggled a lot with perspective, especially drawing the torso and the down and up poses.
Perspective's hard, man. I feel you. Yeah. So did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, like, I think one of the reasons that you struggled a little bit with the perspective of the box is just that this line here doesn't quite follow the perspective, which means that this side of the box is higher than it potentially should be. So, just follow perspective lines. Persp lines. Let's have a look. I'll turn off the notes for now
Cool.
and the tracing paper. And let's have a look. Oh, sucks to be you. Jeez. That's really nice though. Talk about feeling heavy. Yeah, Doug was like, oh no. I'm really glad I'm not this person. For what it's worth, I think you did a great job of drawing that torso in perspective. I would say it feels like it maybe shrinks a little bit fast on the first couple of steps. But I think you did a really good job. Obviously that green line is what you want to be following to make sure that things are feeling even. And I think your character is getting lower and lower on the green line as they go, rather than kind of maintaining the trajectory along it. And that might be why it's feeling a little bit off to you. But I think the perspective that you've got going on that torso there is really like being conveyed and working well. It's a really nice piece of animation, dude. I think you should be super proud of it.
Yay.
Definitely getting the feeling of weight as they are dragging this giant block, this giant cinder block. I'm assuming this cinder block that they're dragging is also dragging... Well, no, it can't be dragging this other one because the other one's moving at the same pace as a person. But it kind of feels like it's dragging this other block along. Because even though the other block starts moving here before the person's really properly dragged, later on, it kind of feels like it's coming after the movement. Like, here we have the step and then the drag happens. So it just kind of feels like it's dragging afterwards. This cinder block closest to the camera.
In the book Name of the Wind, there's a type of magic, which is called like sympathetic links.
Yeah.
Where you can link one object to another. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Is like them lifting and pulling the box that's on their back, kind of dragging the others by force. Yeah.
The main box that I think is having the most problem staying consistent is the box on top of the character's back.
Okay.
So just watch consistency of this box. Maybe do another pass on it just to really make sure that it feels like it's maintaining volume and mass, and the perspective on that makes sense. Watch consistency on this box. Calling it. Oh, wow, my pen really doesn't want to write. Come on. consist. Yeah, there we are. It's working. And the other thing that I would say is the block that they are dragging, the rotation on it's really nice, but it kind of doesn't feel like the movement is... If the block is that heavy, it doesn't feel like the movement is enough to skew it that much.
Well, the thing I'm having an issue with is one plane of the box doesn't look like it's rotating.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's actually skewing rather than rotating.
Yeah,
And I
you're
don't know
right.
if that's intentional or not, but it's throwing off. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one's staying input and moving forward, but the rest of the box behind it is actually, it's like one edge is being skewed, and it looks intentional, but then
that
I'm
doesn't
like,
make
why?
sense for a solid object.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it might not be a solid object. It could be that they're dragging extremely heavy jello or something, but... Well, it doesn't even feel like, I'm just going to write, it doesn't... This plane skews rather than rotating.
They did say that they felt like they struggled a lot with the perspective, so I'm going to take it that...
This is you gave yourself a
Yeah.
challenge for sure.
I'm going to take it that it's not intentional, if they're stating that they struggled with it, though.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look intentional.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes that's enough for me. Like, if I do something and it's, like, intentional but it looks accidental, I'll still want to redo it. Because if it's causing any confusion in the audience, then you're distracting them from the point of the animation.
Yeah.
Of the block. And that happens a lot to me. I'll do something and people will be like, did that happen? And I'll be like, okay, I need to redo that. But I'm trying to kind of work out what this box is attached to of this person for it to skew like that. And the only thing I can make sense of is that it must be attached to like the leg in a crisscross pattern if it's going to skew that much.
Gotcha.
Like this side would have to be attached to this leg. And this side would have to be attached to this leg for the box to skew that much as they're walking. And even then, I feel like if the box is as heavy as you're animating it, I don't feel like it would rotate that much.
Yeah.
With the leg. I feel like it would rotate less to show the weight of it, if that makes sense. So I would probably err on having that rotate less than it currently does. I'd have it more like this, methinks. I'm not 100% sure where that forward plane would be at the minute, because it's not in a position right now that I think it would be. So for such a heavy object, the extent of the rotation feels a bit much. Like, it would make more sense if it was a lighter object, then I could see it rotating that much as it's pulled.
Yeah.
But there's going to be so much resistance to rotating this thing. See, here it doesn't feel like it's as extreme a rotation. Here it just feels like it goes back to being on the straight.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Whereas here it feels like it's rotated very much further away from that. Like if you're going to do an equivalent rotation on this side, it feels like it would almost be like this kind of thing, which feels a bit much.
Yeah,
So-
maybe they were like, oh, we could do that. Oh, wait, no, that's going to obscure my character. I need to have it just go reset.
Probably what they did was they had the cinder block adhering like straight like it is now, adhering to the perspective when it started to one step, and felt like they had to like skew that, and then when they went to skew it back, they felt that it was too extreme, and so could only skew it back to it being in its kind of default state again.
Yeah.
But yeah, this rotation feels more natural because it's less extreme. I really like whenever we get Andre's animation, I always feel like we get these kind of glimpses into a nightmare apocalyptic world.
Yes.
Like, I can always tell it's Andre because it's kind of these wastelands with these comets landing around and such.
Well,
It's very cool. I'm really into it. Like, I think it's awesome.
we also have the torso with legs, no arms, no head character returning.
That's true. At some point, you should add arms, Andre, because they will help your characters. Especially when they're doing stuff like this. But yeah, the box on top of the character is the one that I feel like skews and bends the most. Like it feels a lot of the time like the back plane of it is skewing and bending, which is fine if it's like a soft material, but if it's meant to be something hard that they're carrying on their back, then watch out for that. The character posing and everything, super nice. Like, the blocks are kind of the only thing... Thanks, Donnie. The blocks are kind of the only thing that I think are feeling unbelievable at the minute when I watch it. The actual character motion and movement is great. Like, maybe work out where the boxes are attached to this character. Like,
Thank you for the follows. Mushroom Star in Knit Art Studio. Thank you.
thank you very much. See, where are the blocks being pulled from? And what by? And then I'm going to put feels like this. And just pop in this being attached to like that leg, and this being attached to that leg. I've chose a really bad frame to do it on because it's going to be a little bit confusing to look at. So I hope it's clear. Just do the two in different colours. And then I'll put in brackets attached to opposite needs so that it's a little bit clearer. That's not how you spell attached, but I'm sure you'll know what I mean. The curse of not knowing if you spelled a word right until you've already written it, and then immediately being like, that's wrong.
I think you were okay.
It
Oh
doesn't
wait,
have a
no,
T.
it doesn't have a T.
I have to correct it. I can't not. There we go. Yeah, amazing work though, Andre. This is super cool. I'm so curious about what this world is. Whether it's anything, or whether it's just something that you do for these challenges. I really like the style though that you have going on.
Attaché. Yeah. All right. Who do we have up next?
We have Jack L. Draws.
Cool.
Hey, Patrick! Yo!
Hey, Patrick.
We've got a Pat in the chat. How are you doing? Allow me to have a short break while I eat some ice.
All right.
Because otherwise my ice is gonna melt and I'll be sad.
I'm giving I've set a timer for 10 minutes for each person, so we can sort of keep a handle on how long we're spending.
Toon Boom is really good for 2D. I'm just gonna hang in the chat while I drink my coffee. Hey H Robin. You're getting some boards done before sleeping through the day. You've become nocturnal, Patrick.
I think there was maybe 14 entries today. Speaking of which, I'm closing the
Hey
forum.
Emlet, good morning.
Yeah, 14 responses. And now, no longer accepting.
Entries are closed!
Closed to the general populace.
Pretty sure Pat is a vampire. Maybe. How often do you drink blood, Patrick? Oh my gosh. Miss Mama Work, you ordered a hat too! Oh my gosh, my hat's so good, guys. My hat's so good. I love it so much. It's so good. For anyone who doesn't know, my friend Bryony, who's working on Mystic with us, she showed me a witch hat that you can buy. It's the coolest thing. I ordered it. It's definitely the coolest thing. It's awesome. It arrived last week. It's grey. It's great. It goes with my cloak perfectly. It's wonderful. It makes me feel magical. I love it. Yes. Critiques are going well, and I'm having a very short break while I just drink my iced coffee and eat my ice. Because I don't want it to melt. Because then I'll be sad.
Yeah.
Because the ice is half the point of the iced coffee.
It did take a lot to arrive. Where did
It took a really long time. On the chair just there. Yeah, it took like what, 5 weeks or something to arrive. A tip, you should do it. Like, doesn't all of the merch attached to Unus Annus and Markiplier all give to charity? It's one of the things I really admire about Markiplier is he doesn't make any money off his merch. It all goes into good causes. You think you ordered another shop, but it looked how I described it. You went for more of a fairy hat. It has blue. It's blue and has felted candles on it. That sounds adorable. Are you kidding me? We all have to have like HatCon, where we all meet with our hats and are just stylish. We just walk down the street in a big group with all our hats on and intimidate people with the style.
I don't know if I have a fancy hat. I had that hat that we went to Paris with. I missed that hat. I like that one.
You have the hat my dad got you.
That's true. Yeah. It's also a good one.
It's actually an Indiana Jones hat.
You're right. Is there a fancy scientific name for hats that we could stick to the start of con?
Hat science. You just got some new gauges. What are they? Oh wait, I know what they are. They're for piercings, right? When you have the holes and they hold. I know the things. I know the things. I don't have any piercings or any tattoos because
you're being called out
baby.
You're being called out for your Ice Cube ASMR.
Sorry, I'm done.
Is that a thing?
Finished it.
Is that a thing? I'm gonna
I'm
search
fairly
that
sure
up.
if it exists, it's probably a thing.
Can someone clip that? I want that. If it exists, it's probably a thing. If
it exists, it's probably a kinky internet thing.
Okay.
Is what I mean.
ASMR is not kinky.
I think it is.
It's not.
And that's why I don't like.
It's not.
It It feels way too intimate.
I will say that
There's a reason
there's
why
an intimacy to the proximity of the sounds, for
there's
sure.
a reason why you would be uncomfortable with a child doing ASMR at you. And the reason is because there's a weirdly sexual edge to it. Because of the intimacy of having someone that close to you. And you can't say there isn't, because a bunch of the ASMR channels I see, like, it's not... It's like the way that the people present themselves in those.
I would agree that there are very, very horny ASMR artists
like,
out there.
Girlfriend, like, whispering you to sleep. Like, someone doing your hair at a party and telling you intimate secrets. And intimacy doesn't have to mean sex, but it feels strange to have strangers being that intimate in my ears.
That just says more about your, like...
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with strangers whispering in my ears. That is something I am fully able to admit.
If we're gonna have this argument, can we at least whisper into the microphone?
No! I don't like it. But maybe that's because I don't get the tingles that people say that they get.
Yeah, if you're not getting the actual ASMR feeling, then it would probably just present as like, this is weird and I don't like it.
It is, but can you, like, is there a potential to do ASMR without it being like super intimate and weird?
Yeah, there's people who just like tap on objects and like rub them against the microphone.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't think you can whisper. I can whisper. Isn't this relaxing?
Yeah, there's like ambient noise, like rain falling and stuff for it.
Well, that's super nice, but like I'm happy to listen to rainfall ASMR, but people tapping their nails on things, no, it freaks me out. I feel like I'm in a horror movie. Anyway, let's get back to the critiques. I finished eating my ice. And no judgment on anyone who enjoys ASMR. Mike is one of them. And it's totally fine.
I'm very susceptible to the ASMR feeling, though.
Patrick says my favourite is raindrops that whisper intimate secrets as they fall. No, the raindrops are being too intimate with me. I don't like it.
They're all just screaming that they've lived for the duration of this one mighty fall.
Yeah, they're like, I'm alive, it's wonderful. The saddest ASMR ever.
I saw a bird on my way by.
Chalkboard scratch ASMR. Oh, that sounds so bad. Oh, the sound of cutlery against plates ASMR. No. No.
The first time someone introduced you to ASMR, it was this girl licking ear-like microphones.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's weird.
I hate it.
I would agree that ASMR, there's a plateau of like nice, charming, quality entertainment, and then you reach a certain point and then it's just
it descends
cleavage in the thumbnails and people licking stuff.
Yeah, I got my foot on a cat. It's real nice. It's really cute. I love you, Buffy. Even if you don't like to be around me, I like you.
I think part of how ASMR was discovered though was people filming themselves, but they would have like a handheld camera or something, and because they were just like manipulating the camera, you would get those sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So people were like, whoa, why is the audio of this video doing that? And that's kind of how it was like, yeah, it's discovered.
I feel like the discovery of ASMR has to be linked fairly directly to people filming themselves popping what's that plastic?
Bubble wrap.
Yes, that's it. I feel like people filmed that for satisfaction and then were like, oh wait, there's more.
ASMR isn't just about like muffled explosion sounds though.
Yo, we have David in the chat too.
Yo, David.
Yo, David.
And Circular Roo too.
Muffled
Hello.
explosions is my ASMR.
Cat's ASMR. Cat's purring.
Oh, that's cute.
So
She's
wait,
cute.
you don't get ASMR at all from audio that you listen to?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I learned so much about you on these streams.
Sure, I told you that before. Anywho, I'm gonna play this because
All right, I'm gonna hit the timer.
I feel bad for taking so long.
You got 10 minutes.
Oh geez. Okay, let's play it. Did they say anything?
Play it and then I'll find it and then read it.
Okay. Nice. Oh, this is fun. Oh no! I wasn't expecting that at the end. Ah.
They said I need to be more efficient with my frames. First instinct for heavy stuff is to add a lot of frames to make the movement slow, but after doing a second pass I found that I could get the same or better impression of weight by using fewer, more impactful frames and holding on them for slightly longer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good. You did a good learn.
I'm laughing at the impactful thing because they literally have their character crushed.
All about them freeze. I'm all about them freeze. About them threes. No doubles. No ones. Okay, so let's see. Watch your character scale a little bit because it feels like the character grows a fair amount from your first frames to your later frame. Just here, actually, especially just here. Just watch the scale on these couple of frames here. Let me... Watch character scale. You are definitely conveying the weight though, so awesome job with that. And yeah, nice job on like getting both a very light object and a very heavy object into this animation. When it was only necessary to do one, but you did two.
They did 3.
I guess technically this counts as another one. Those eyes. It might be nice to anticipate that with a bit of a shadow. So that you can see the character has a reason to like look up beyond this one frame of it entering the frame. I'll put maybe anticipate with a shadow. I think the main thing that I was seeing is a couple of the parts where the character... I can't talk and write at the same time. My brain is unable to multitask. Maybe anticipate with shadow. Boulder. Where the character is dropping the object or throwing it off screen. I felt like we kind of lost the weight of this. I'm going to call it just a bowling ball or like a boulder. Cool. Boulder.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of lose that when they throw it off screen.
Yeah.
I think partially because the throw motion itself is so fast. It's only a couple of frames. I feel like they would need to like heft that more. If this is how much they're having to heft it just holding it, I feel like throwing it, they'd really have to get their entire body behind it, and it feels like they're kind of throwing it mostly from the shoulders here, with the legs pushing up too, but it doesn't feel like the back is really engaging like it is in these earlier frames.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Which makes it feel like it suddenly became light. I think a few adjustments to the posing could really help here.
Would you have them lean back a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd probably have them like swing it as well. Like if I'm going to throw something heavy, I want momentum on my side, so my body has to do the least amount of work. I'm all about my body needing to do the least amount of work. So I would probably swing this object to one side so that when I swing it back like a pendulum, its own momentum is going to help me to throw it and release it, essentially. I drew this too small, like a fool. But yeah, so what you could do is on this little anticipation here before they throw it, I'm pretty sure this is the anticipation before they throw it, yeah. Continue this motion through and have them swing it back as they prepare to throw it forward.
So what you're saying is, if you were going to punch a child full force,
Oh my
you would
goodness.
use momentum and swing into it in
We're
order
back-
to use the least amount of effort
Can't
for your
believe we're
body.
back to punching children again.
I'm just trying to make sure your
It makes
advice
me look
doesn't
bad.
contradict itself.
Make you look bad in front of Patrick and David. They didn't hear about us talking about punching children earlier.
They probably heard you talk about punching children
We
before.
said you shouldn't do it.
But if
Okay?
you had to, then you have to use your full force to show them respect.
Back to kids punching. Yeah. R.I.P.
Sorry.
R.I.P. to us ever becoming Twitch partners. As soon as they
No.
find out about my child punching, we can kiss that goodbye. Okay. So yeah, then I would, rather than have this anticipate straight down here, I would just follow that fruit. Follow the action fruit. This is what I want. This is what I want.
If you punch a child, it's a sandwich.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. You just ignore that.
If you punch a child, is it a sandwich? A knuckle sandwich. Phalange sandwich. I'm not. I don't want to punch children, okay? That's not the story here. It's not a desire I have. I refuse to let that be the takeaway from this critique session. And then you can have that head start to go forward as the arms are still traveling backwards, and we are preparing to launch. We're preparing to launch. I should actually write what the problem is here. The throw off screen. Object feels like it loses weight. Throw feels motivated by shoulders and legs, but not so much core and back. They're just posing and timing. To keep it feeling heavy.
Circular is saying, "Why am I so impressed by that handwriting?" It's because it's beautiful.
This is like the worst handwriting. It's very hard to write in this program. I'm learning. I think because I try to write very quickly, so the program has a bit of a problem catching up. Director of Master at Communication. Well, thanks for setting me up for failure there, Patrick. Shit, now I feel like everything I say has to be like... yeah, I'm not... I'm doing my best. I'm learning a lot. Directing is teaching me a lot about trying to communicate more clearly. If there was one person I could say is a master at communication, it would actually be Patrick. Patrick is very clear and concise in what he says. I sometimes struggle to find words. Luckily, I have drawings to help me, so... And then we can have a little stretch here as the head tries to come up. And the arms are stretching behind as they try to lug this this thing up, and it's still traveling up just a little bit because of the momentum of the like pendulum swing that we got going on with it. I'm sorry, that's 10 minutes, but I can't stop. Won't stop. Don't stop. Do 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 do. It's a mansion party. Do 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 do.
Okay, this is
if
the
you're
final.
feeling naughty.
This is the final piece of feedback on this. Then
What? No, but does the other throw as well?
that's okay.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's
We
not.
have to move on.
No.
I appreciate what you want to do, India.
Well, then you can't stop me.
I
You can't stop me. You can't stop this.
can.
La
Okay.
la 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 la.
You got 1 more minute.
No, I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You have to
I
be
need
more.
more than 1 minute.
You have to be a little bit more efficient.
Ooh. I'll show you efficient. I don't know what I mean by that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh no. I feel like I have to get this like consistent, or the feedback is going to be unclear. I'm sorry that this boulder is changing shape. I don't mean it to be. If I had more time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It does matter. It
Do-
matters because it makes it unclear. Okay. And then we can have them start to... Wow. Why is this... Okay, that's alright. Then we can have them start to lug this back this way. I was expecting my drawing to disappear in this frame as I started drawing a new one. And just make sure like it really drags behind the hand, like it's really hard for them to pick up, has to feel super heavy. I'll just do a little scribble like this. Ah! Ah, la, la. This is the sound they would make. They're turning into a werewolf as they're doing it. Well, that's important.
As they
Gotta be careful.
transform the box from one position to another, they too transform.
Remember that we're swinging it as well. Like, I don't want to create the impression that they're lifting it because they're meant to be using the momentum that they built up there to like lug it forward. So keep it low, I guess. Look at how much it's shrunk. I'm terrible. And then the head going back is super nice. Call.
Yeah.
And then it would disconnect from them. As in they would let go of it.
Yeah.
Disengage! Probably. So something a little bit more like this to keep it feeling heavy, essentially.
Cool.
So they're using the momentum of that to try and lug it off screen, essentially. So the other note I had was on the light ball being thrown off screen. I think there's something in the drawings here where it doesn't really feel like it's being thrown. It just feels like it's kind of moving of its own volition. I think that's partially because the spacing on it doesn't really change through here. And also because the arc doesn't seem affected by the fact it's been thrown by the hand.
Gotcha.
So, let me just write here. I'm going to call it... I'll just call it object still. Object. I was tempted to call it ball. Like it's being thrown. Because... Let me write! Because... Spacing. doesn't change. And path is unaffected. Path is with an S, not an N. That's a different word.
Alrighty.
Unaffected. So, when they grab it here and they throw it up, we have the ball here and they throw it upwards. Just make sure that that arc feels motivated by that movement of the hand. Look at this getting smaller. But, you know, you get the idea.
You get the drift.
Yeah, get the drift. Which is just that in order to have them throw it, the force then is coming from the hand that they're using to launch it into the air, not the arc you already had it on, because they're grabbing it here and disturbing its arc. And then they might use its momentum to throw it off screen, but the way that you have this hand movement going suggests to me that they're throwing it upwards a little bit, because the follow through on the hand continues the motion of it being thrown up. So in that case, you probably want to just adjust that path to make it feel like it's actually being thrown upwards by the hand. There you are.
Cool. Thanks for participating, Jack.
Thank you very much, Jack Eldraws. I got all the feedback in there. I did it.
All right, next one.
Okay.
We're not here to fight. We need your help.
Even though literally every time we talk to you, you double-cross us, kidnap us, or threaten to destroy everything we love.
Maybe we are here for a fight.
Guys!
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you for the raid.
Hello, welcome over.
Why is that so small, Michael?
What do you mean, why is it? So it's not in the way of feedback that you're giving?
Oh, it
India?
has to go over the entire screen.
Thank you so much for coming over. And Spatula, thank you. Thank you for the raid. And thank you for the follows.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Hey, how was the stream? What were you guys up to? Yeah, welcome. I'll let you know what we're doing. We are... Thank you for the follows. We're doing the Animorning challenge, which is a challenge that we give to people every week. And then on Mondays and sometimes Tuesdays too, if we get a lot of entries, we go over and just review what people have been doing. So all these animations are by people who have entered the Animorning challenge. And we're just going through them, looking at them, giving any feedback we have on them. And then we'll set a new challenge.
Yeah, so the theme for this week was to demonstrate weight by picking up a heavy or light object and then dropping it.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have two characters from Exoskeleton and an object. And a narrative will unfold.
Yes,
We've not seen this yet.
We haven't watched it yet, so you guys are experiencing this for the first time with us. Tip says sometimes Thursdays too. Sometimes Fridays. That will never happen again. It's okay if you didn't have them drop it, Steiny. No worries. Wow!
Thank you for the subscription.
Shilvero, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the subscription. Spatula, that's okay. You have a good sleep. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you bringing people over. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Patrick is so subtle. All right, let's have a look at this. So this is at Exoskeletons.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, this poor little goblin fella. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting that it's heavy, which is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. I would say if it's heavy, probably I feel like the point at which you actually do pick it up is probably a bit fast. Because it feels almost like it's glued to the ground and then they manage to pull the glue that's binding it off and it pings into their hands. Whereas you want them to continue to struggle to lift it, and then when it gets to like the apex of its arc, they let the weight fall back into them, and that's what causes this kind of reaction here. I like this little flail with the leg. Ah! And the step back to rebalance themselves. That's nice. Look at this douchemonger with dropping his big plank and making the goblin drop its sack. It's so mean. Yeah, I think you could clarify a bit of the posing here too. When the plank hits the floor, if you want to go really cartoony with it, separating that sack out from the goblin silhouette is going to make what happens much clearer. Okay, let's go through and do a few little draws to try and illustrate what I mean a little bit more.
Oops, I need to set the timer.
Yeah, these are cool characters. I especially like the big muscly dude. I just like the way that his little Pac-Man hood works. I think that's really cool. So yeah, we have this crouch down. And don't be afraid to move your character's feet either. If you're picking up a box or a sack in front of you, if you try this too, act this out, put something in front of yourself about a foot away like this is, and go to pick it up, you're going to step into it, essentially, every time. Unless you're starting straddling over the top of it, you're going to step into it. So don't be afraid to move your character's feet to get them in a better position to pick something up. Yeah,
because at the point that they have their hands and everything underneath the object becomes a part of their mass, and so they can be unbalanced. They'd look unbalanced without the object, but with, you're kind of like, you're moving your center of gravity to the midpoint between your character and your object they're lifting. In the case of a heavy object, for sure.
Yeah, step in to get core of character closer to object. Because the core is where people will lift heavy objects from. So the closer that is to the center of gravity of the object, the more you can kind of engage that. Closer to object is what I want, not character. Object.
Oh, and also to introduce ourselves, we both work professionally in animation. We're currently making music videos with Knights of the Light Table. So if you want to see a couple of projects that we've done in the past, I would recommend checking out the Knights of the Light Table website to see a portfolio of the work that we've contributed to.
I like this reuse as well. This is very efficient. It's nice to see you reusing these poses. I would say to add a bit of variance to it, once they've maybe tried once or twice to lift it with no success from their current position, maybe try leaning them in deeper so they're like, okay, this is heavy. I have to like get more of myself engaged in this in order to lift it up. So maybe like at that point, throw in a new drawing where you like really crouch them over and you're like, I'm gonna lift it. Because right now they feel like they're lifting mostly with straight arms. Get those arms like bent in there. Get everything like bent and scrunched up, ready to straighten.
Yeah, get that anticipation.
Especially the back. The back's the main thing.
I'm gonna lift it.
I gotta get that foot right. Gotta get that foot in the right place.
No, you don't.
I do.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay.
I got the toe in the wrong place, but I think you'll forgive me.
I forgive you.
I hope you.
I forgive you. 6 minutes left.
Stop!
No.
No, I can't. It's going to be very difficult for me to give feedback if I'm counting the seconds. Like, it's more important for me to give good feedback than for me to rush through it. So.
Oh, cool, Michael. Was that during their European tour, or did you see it in Chicago?
Chicago. Yeah, so get like more of their head pressed into that to prepare to do a heavier lift, like a more intense lift. get more of their back hunched over it, so their back can like really unfold into it. And then this is a nice pose. Don't be afraid to like really push that line of action through there. Like contrast. It's all about contrast. If it's trying to push it up, pull it up in that direction, don't be afraid to like really.
The nose knows where it's going.
The nose knows. Well, since you've got that awesome design element of that nose on there, might as well use it, right?
Look at India flipping back and forth between those two poses and how you feel the force of them pulling and tugging on this heavy object from those two.
I wonder if we can get the other foot over there somewhere. But yeah, then rather than just pink into the chest here in just 2 drawings, take more time. And strain to lift object.
He must say yes. Make him say yes.
Sour Orange, thank you for the follow. I'm gonna read out some of the follows if that's okay with you, India.
Yeah, please do.
Shilvero, Michaelo 2000, Mothman's Boyfriend, Dreading Sleep, Gabberforth, Agro Tadpole, Soul Orange, and Heal Over Time. Thank you. Thank you so much for following us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. Thank you.
The Donnie yes is so creepy. Yes.
I love it.
Make him say yes.
It's the animation too. Whoever animated that, like, they nailed it.
Yeah, they killed it.
Like, perfect. Have the faster action happen when the character lets weight fall into their chest. And I can do a little illustration to show you what I mean.
Okay, cool.
I like how much Mike is trying to chivvy me along.
I'm not. That'd be really cool to see.
Like a shepherd. Trying to herd a cat. One singular cat.
An anonymous gifter gifted a 3-month tier 1 sub to Soul Orange. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Sour Orange. Sorry, thank you.
So when we have the character like this, and they have the object, I'm going to put the object higher. So they're essentially bracing their body and their legs underneath the object because it's heavy. That's going to be kind of like this part of the lifting arc, is it's going to come down. So lift slow and then down fast. Is that clear, do you think?
Yes, I think so. So a slow up and a fast down.
Yeah. But the point at which you want that fast to happen, is after they've got the object into a position where they can let it fall against them.
Yeah. Where do you tend to find that is? Is it like when they've got it above their kind of like comfortable resting position?
Yeah.
They like gravity sort of like, it's almost like they're letting the momentum of the initial lift settle and gravity take over, and then it's like, ooh,
Yeah, like generally it's just above your pelvis, because your pelvis is what you like engages your back and everything into that kind of stable position. But sometimes people rest things on their knees too. So in that case, if you want to like pick up a box and rest it on your knees,
Gotcha.
it can be just above the knees, like just above wherever it is you want to drop it to, because you don't want to expend extra energy.
Mhm.
So it's very much just above where you are going to let it drop into.
Cool.
I really like this. Love this. Love this leg. Look at that! I did it in time.
We're
Yeah.
not here to fight. We need your help.
Even though literally every time we talk to you, you double-cross us, kidnap us, or threaten to destroy everything we love.
Maybe we are here for a fight.
God,
Maybe we are here for a fight!
Bubbles with a Z. Hello, welcome in.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going? Thank you so much for the raid.
Yeah, welcome in. We're doing the Animorning challenge today, so we're looking at exoskeletons challenge submission. How you doing? Heyo.
Heyo!
Heyo. The religious silence every time the clip plays.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love it so much. I need to actually hear it. It makes me very happy, that clip. You need to make it bigger. I don't think we'll get raided again today, but just in case, you need to make it bigger.
It's big enough.
No, put it on top of everything. Michael.
I feel like
Michael. Please. Please.
okay, for next time.
No, now. Do it, please. Please.
We're not- It's only gonna be like we're not gonna.
Please.
Jesus. Okay, where positionally do you want it?
In the center, yeah.
You are, but it's gonna.
I don't care. It's we all stop what we're doing and listen to it anyway when it happens.
Yeah, but it'll happen for follows as well now.
That's okay. It can happen for follows.
I'm gonna put it down center.
No.
It's gonna be just as big.
Wow. Okay. Fine.
Your priorities are compromised.
Maybe I am here for a fight. Look, to separate that out silhouette-wise. And maybe to have it hang in the air like a frame or two more before it slams down.
Yeah, so that we can anticipate. Because I think, okay, he drops it. It's still.
It gets
let
like
go. Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets kind of caught in his silhouette, and the camera's still shaking. Like you can't really trace the movement of him like letting it go and it being thrown up. So I do feel like it needs a little bit more time to have an arc, so that we can register what's happening with it.
I see you there, Sniper Wolf, trying to initiate the follow. I think Streamlabs knows if it's a refollow.
Aw. I appreciate the effort though. Thanks. I do love that notification. If anyone hasn't followed yet and is intending to, do it now so we can see the size of the alert. Maybe add a few more frames of airtime. So we can register.
I like the caveat, but you are intending to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
I wouldn't want someone who's not intending to follow us. That's not good for anyone. So we can register the movement.
You must say yes.
There you go.
Say yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, I guess. I mean, I think you could still make it bigger.
No, you crazy talking
I wish
now.
that I had control. The streams would be so popping, guys, if I had control. They'd be snapped and popping. Yeah, refollow doesn't work, unfortunately. But yeah, the fast down is good. but I think it needs just a little bit more airtime there to hang before that happens. But yeah, great job, Exoskelet. Thank you so much for submitting this week. And make you take up the whole screen. I'm so tempted, Steiny. Judy, only you'll follow us one day. You say with that cheesy toast next to your name. We really appreciate it. You've got a follow in the chamber. Just make it bigger and I'll take the shot. You see, everyone wants it bigger.
Okay, it's bigger now.
It's not. You're such a liar.
I scaled it up and I moved it center.
Did you? Let me see. Bigger.
You crazy talk.
Not
now.
crazy.
There?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez.
How about we just stream the whole episode every single time? You don't know how close we are, Steiny. Oh, I recognize this character.
George
it's a
is
little
like,
bat.
nope, we're not making it bigger. And then India's like, make him say yes. Make him say yes.
We just have to get him to stage 7, guys. Must say yes. It's Divert.
Verdubi.
Yo, look at this tiny box. Do you think it's going to be heavy or light?
Vert says, how to pick something heavy up without being too boring / stiff is what they struggled with.
Okay, let's have a look.
Or they learned how to do that.
Oh, nice camera move at the beginning. These poses, though. I love these poses so much.
Full of character.
Something about that tiny little scramble when they first pick it up, where they're like... Okay, let me see how big this is.
If it's big enough.
Oh, Rowan, thank you for the subscription.
Okay, that's way better, Mike. I'm happier with that. Yeah. Thank you, H. Rowan, so much. And that's really nice of you to subscribe just to see if it's big enough. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, look, see, that's nice. You can see the quality of the animation.
Okay.
I'm into it.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I'm into it. Good animation makes the world go around, baby. Okay, so yeah, I really like this this pan here. Watch keeping your character's size and proportions consistent. Like from this frame to this frame, it feels like they get a lot smaller. So I think what would be a good thing to do is to take a frame that you really like potentially this one or another that you really like, and just have it to the side of your canvas as you're working so you can consistently compare and make sure that you're keeping the proportions consistent. So keep an eyeball on your proportions.
He must say yes. Make him say yes.
I got you, Gidizilla.
Nice, Gidizilla, thank you. Look, at the end, gets me every time.
Gets smaller here. Gets smaller here.
Okay, let's see. What he gonna do? This side. Oh, I guess I have to lift it because there's no one else around. So yeah, that's a nice lifting position you got there. I think if you're gonna have the legs ping out like this, just have them like that to begin with, so you can track that movement a bit better. So
I should really change that to say that the first 5 episodes rather than the first episode.
and maybe you can clear the silhouette of the eyeball here by just moving that foot along a little bit. Sorry, that knee along a little bit. Whoop, there you go. Clear silhouette. And get feet in position. It looks like I've said get Pete in position. It's not what I meant. There we are. And then watch again your sizing here. It feels like between these 2 frames, the character feels like they shrink. And I really like that backbend you have on this key. Like, if you're going to straighten that out, remember that the character needs to have the same amount of meat. I know people hate it when I say that, but that's just the way I say it. I'm sorry. So, maintain volumes.
They must say yes. Make him say yes.
Thank you for the follow and partial credit.
Thank you so much.
I've been given push-ups to do.
Oh, nice. Good job, guys. Yeah, it's for the greater good. Like, you want the body to feel like it's comparable proportionally. Maybe even throw that chest out more.
I did them.
Nice, good job. Which means that the head would go a little bit higher. Ow! There's a she-wolf in the shadows. Ow! That's what she says.
Is that from something?
Yeah, it's a Shakira song or something.
Does she actually go, ah,
She does. She doesn't do it as derply as I do. She does it
okay.
kind of sultrily and sexily. Ow!
Vertenby has an emote of awoo
Ow!
from Awoo Streams. Nice.
They must say yes. Make him say yes.
Hey, thank you so much for the follow.
Hey, yeah.
So yeah, just look to keep all those proportions like comparable. Chest volumes. Chest volumes. You know, your volumes speak volumes. Ha!
Good joke, India.
Thank you.
I like the sideways head.
What?
That, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like the way that you are using these poses and pushing them. Just remember that you can push the poses along with keeping the body like proportionally consistent. That is the true power that lies within. So there's a little bit of discrepancy between our bat person unable to lift up the box like this and then just with their elbows casually cradling it into their arms. Something needs to change there in order for them to pick it up, or it implies that they've been putting on this show of trying to lift it up when they could have just used their arms here to do it. But I love this. I love the expressions. It's so good. Maybe just like try and get their legs underneath them more or something. There needs to be something here to allow them to get that box up toward them after they've just demonstrated that they can't do it. So
Yeah.
whether that's like they throw their entire head down and they're like,
Yeah, because the original lift makes a statement that you have to continue. Like, it's like you set down your own ground rules about how heavy the box is on the first one. So
Yeah.
if they're like, I can't lift it, and then they're like, oh, just slowly bring it up into another position.
yeah, like
And you're breaking the world. And that's bad.
maybe like putting their knees on the floor or something. Or you could just put like really try and get their feet underneath it.
Kachiku Play says maybe his butt further to the ground, like he sank down a bit.
Yeah,
That could be good, yeah.
like, good. Try and get his feet even like further underneath. Even more frog. Need more frog. Frog pose. Is there a yoga pose called frog pose? I felt there should be.
I don't know.
It should be, shouldn't there?
I only know of certain, like, the warrior stance and the tree
Warrior 2.
and downward dog?
Yeah.
Is there an upward dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sure is. And there's Cobra. Some of them sound like they're Mortal Kombat characters, which I appreciate. Warrior. Cobra. Fatality.
Yeah, what's upward dog?
Upward dog is, I think it's just like a reverse.
Just put on like, doot, 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 and you walk backwards, like, shuffling your
No,
feet.
I mean like rather than bending your back one way, you bend it the other. I swear I've done it in a yoga class. It's not a very good pose, but hopefully you'll get the idea. Let me make some notes so that it's clearer, because my
Maybe you
drawing
want to.
isn't.
Maybe you want to draw the arms in a different color to the feet.
Yeah, maybe I do. Let's get everything which is overlapping in a different colour. The box can be green.
I didn't even start a timer for this one.
Sorry, this drawing is not very good. But let me give you some notes so you know what I'm trying to convey to you.
You don't have to write, sorry, this drawing is not good.
But what if because I didn't see Vert in... Oh, Vert's in chat. Hey, Vert. I guess I don't need to write that then, because
No.
you just heard me say it. Well, I'm halfway through writing it now, so I'm going to finish.
Make him say yes.
Thank you so much for the follows. Thank you
Thank
coming
you.
in. You fans of animating?
You've established the box.
You would like to submit the moving in scene from Girl in the Glim for this Animorning. You can't do that. 1, it's not animated. 2, it's not yours. Unless you have animated it, in which case, go for it.
To lift. So the character needs to adjust their position.
Vert says, I like how you've written it along the perspective.
I can't help it. I see lines and my pen travels along them. It's actually not anymore. It's drifting off, but
Yeah.
you know, it needs to adjust their position. to get better purchase.
You didn't need to write all of that out.
Well, I just did. You know, maybe for once, Mike, you could be like, good job, India. It's cool that you wrote that all out, just in case, like, they don't want to have to listen back to the entire stream to hear the feedback and just want to look at the sketch fab. Uh-huh.
Sync sketch.
Do you have something? Damn it! Dagnabbit! I love these expressions. You don't have to write that, India. Oh, I'm gonna! Anyway. Screw you.
I love you. We're on to the next one.
We're not yet.
Oh.
Nice smear. The howl of agony. These poses are so fun. I love them. I wonder if you can get his arms underneath the box, because it feels like it's not a very good purchase to hold the box like that. I wonder if you could get one arm underneath. So you have one above and one underneath. Like this.
Hey Devin, how is it going?
Devin! Devin!
I love that what she said is, Doig, I love you, in India, goblin noises and affirmation. And I'm like, hey Devin, how's it going? And you're like,
Devin! Hey, how's it going? Oh no, underneath for support. How are you doing?
I need to rewatch Watership Down. I've not seen it in years.
Oh no, you don't. It's really traumatizing.
Okay.
Maybe when you have the box held up here, you could have it held for a couple of seconds and then have the arms start to wobble because of the weight of the box.
There's a crow mail.
Hold on then. I'm just gonna finish drawing this. Hold up for a sec. Then have the arms start to wobble.
Trauma's good when you're younger. It lets you
What?
deal with...
What?
If you deal with something that's scared when you're younger in a safe environment, like watching a film, then you can go through the feelings of wow, that scared me, but it's okay. I made it through, and I can be scared and be okay.
Yeah, unless it's a deep existential dread like Watership Down gave me, where I still think about it to this day, and it still freaks me out.
Okay.
So here we go. Chromail!
This
Thank you, Stamps.
This looks like it's supposed to be a song.
This Chromail comes to you courtesy of Peter Steves, who says, lyrics. Here's the deal. Open your eyes. Your life is a lie. Don't say a word, I'll tell you why. You're living a lie. Your life is a lie. But you deny you ever lied. Wondering why? Bury your life. Count your friends on your hands. Now look again. They're not your friends. Hold your breath. Everyone left. No surprise. Living a lie is the first section of a song.
Okay.
Do you like that, Stamps? Thank you very much, Peter Steves. That gave us some stuff to think about. When your friends are not your friends. It reminds me of that story that I read
Yeah.
about the man who was having a Christmas and he was scared no one would come and be friends with him, and then all his friends came round, but they only came round to tell him they hated him, and then they left.
They didn't
With a very sad
leave.
story.
They didn't leave. They killed him.
They
They murdered him.
They flat out murdered him. They did. It's true. It was a very sad story. What a sobering tale. And then here maybe rather than make it look like he's like potentially deliberately dropped it by his hand splaying out, have it just slip straight through the fingers. Like butter these hands are. Praise the sun. And then have them splay out after you've had a frame of the box just slipping straight down.
Oh, night night, Noah.
Night night, Noah. La 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 la. I'm the king of the mamba beat. Singing chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. And then you can have the arms splay out afterwards.
Is India technically doing customer service now? No, because none of you are... Well, depends. Some of you are customers.
I think for this bit to read properly, you just need to go for in-betweens. Because I'm not 100% sure how one pose is meant to get to the other. So in-betweens I think will help you. Things like arm flails and stuff often need multiple frames to read unless they are a smear. Look at that face. I love that face. Again, just be aware that if you establish the back as being this long, when it's curved, you need it to be like this long when it's straight. So be careful that you're not like accidentally shortening your back between those two. That face.
Yeah, if you wanted to have the back be that short, it would probably have to be leaning over, in which case the scale of your head and stuff would have to come up and all that.
And also be careful about your box's position on the ground. At the minute it looks like it travels backwards, because even though the front corner is stretching out, the back corner isn't. So make sure if you have it like stretch out as a squash frame, you have it squash out in all directions. You probably also want, since it's a squash frame, that first edge facing towards us, that plane, is actually pretty much the same size. So squash that down. If you really want it to look like it's squashing and stretching.
Another crowmail. Says your time's over.
It's all about maintaining them volumes, baby.
This is another one from Peter Steves. It says, "Can you do animal calls from a cow, and bzzz from a bee, and a roar from a lion, and a purr from a cat?" It's just animal noises ASMR now. Animal sensory meridian response.
You enjoy?
No.
Fun?
No.
What's your favourite animal sound to make?
A favorite animal sound to make?
Yeah.
I feel like you've asked me that like 2 years ago on stream.
I probably asked you a bunch of stuff that we've then forgotten that I asked you.
Maybe it was just favorite animal. Seems more legit. Favorite animal noise to make? I don't know. Cat? What about you?
Go on then. I was about to
Your
make
turn.
an animal noise. My favourite is probably cat purrs because they just feel nice to do. Like, I enjoy the sensation of doing them in my mouth.
What though?
Like, rolling my tongue is fun.
Yeah, okay.
So, I enjoy that.
Vert says, I like T-Rex noises.
Ola says sheep always reply to me when I talk to them. Not sure what that means.
What do they say?
You're obviously very fluent. Well, I mean, I don't know if he understands what they say.
But they reply.
Far am you, sheep be true. Awesome job, Bert. I love the creativity of the poses here. It's at the minute it's very much like just keys. So I'd love to see some breakdowns and in-betweens in there to really see how they get from one pose to the other. And also just the main thing is like, what's your proportions? And I think the thing that I'm seeing a lot of people need through all of the ones that we've looked at so far is to really get reference of what you're doing. Because a lot of the little mistakes that I'm seeing as we go through are mainly to do with how you would hold a box or how you would lift something up.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my note to everyone as a whole is like, get reference or have a look at someone actually doing it in real life before you tackle your animation, so you can really understand what's happening with the mechanics. Oh my gosh, I've just seen 2 down. I think that's Evelyn's, but I think I recognise the silhouettes of turtles.
Yeah. Evelyn did some turtles.
Ah! Alright, this is Carry Me Bags with grids. Added grids.
Nice.
I love it, thank you. Bert says, I referenced my heart. That's beautiful, Bert. Tip says, when I was very young, I had a conversation with a dolphin. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I wish I would have conversations with dolphins. That sounds like fun.
That's not a dolphin.
What is a dolphin like?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's even a dolphin.
Play the animation.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. It's a heavy. I really like the way that your character overbalances at the end. That's very fun. I like that a lot. That's nice, satisfying spacing there as well. I'm a fan of that. Yeah, I think this is real nice. Let's have a look frame by frame, see if there's any small things we could tweak to sell it better. Because at the minute, I think it's already working really nicely. Let me just check the proportions of this character. It feels like the proportions are staying like kind of okay. Like you've got a shorter body and thicker legs here later on, so maybe watch out for those. Overall though, you're keeping them pretty well, and that's nothing that you can't tackle in the tie down stage, you know. Obviously this is very rough at the minute, so when you tie it down, maybe look to keep an eye on those proportions a bit more. I think this pose here. Hey Mike, what's up?
I was just looking over at you to listen to you talking.
Okay.
And then I realized I would off-put you, so I then immediately turned away.
Okay. You just glanced
I
at
failed.
me really quickly like I'd done something wrong.
No.
This pose here feels a little bit like they're about to overbalance. I like putting this leg out here. That makes a lot of sense. So maybe if you're going to slide the leg across, just have it slide into the position it's going to be when you bend that leg anyway. Because that would feel more balanced to me than what you currently have. So it would be from that to that.
Cool.
Feels more balanced. And then this is nice. I like that we do that step forward. Feel like maybe we would have... So this is the frame in which they grab the rock. I'm just going to call it rock.
Yeah.
This is the frame in which they grab the rock. And then the next frame, they're already pulling back. I think once they grab the rock, you need at least a frame of anticipation of them bending their arms and their legs ready to pull back.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than placing their hands and immediately pulling back. They need to brace themselves, essentially. So I'll add a frame here. Add a frame of like them bracing and anticipating pulling that upwards.
Eternity glitch. Either. It depends on the challenge. Sometimes it's specifically a storyboarding challenge, and in which case then we'd probably frown against you animating them. But yeah, if you feel like you just want to put in keys or you want to work out something that way, that you're like,
that's totally cool.
Yeah.
The only caveat we have for the challenge is we don't expect people to spend more than 3 hours on it. So therefore, if 3 hours is like keys, or if it's roughs, that's totally fine. We definitely don't expect finished work from people.
Do keep in mind though that if you're only putting in keys to kind of extend the duration of your action, then we might not be able to critique the whole piece because there's just too many concepts
15 minutes long,
to address. Yeah.
There's no way, but in general, I didn't even see the question. I should probably read the question. Oh, yeah, generally we'll specify each Animorning whether they are animations or storyboards that we're asking for. We've done a few storyboard specific challenges.
Yeah.
So like this will have them brace forward. And I'm gonna dip that head down more actually. So add anticipation. Oh, come on, let me write the D. There we are. Are you thinking about the D as a dick?
No, I wasn't. I was, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
You were. You see, I knew you were. I wasn't. Lies. No one snickers as soon as I say the D and isn't thinking about a dick. Add anticipation frame here.
Cyber we got all our music from Epidemic Sound, and so I think they do make certain tracks from there as available on Spotify. I can't really just... Actually, they might have switched it up. I might be able to share the playlist. But what I've ended up doing is I download all the tracks and I play them through Fubar. So I don't have like an online playlist that I can just send to you. But all of the titles are down in the bottom left next to my name if you want to Google them or search them on Spoofy.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So here, let's show their hands folding underneath slightly. Not only because that's how long you've shown their arms to be, but also because if they're actually lifting it, like you tend to try and get your fingers underneath the thing as soon as possible.
Yeah, whether that be like you can rock an object back and forth to like create a little bit of a gap. It depending on the object. If it's a rock with a kind of like rounded surface, it's a lot easier. But if it's a box, you might have to do some finagling.
This is nice, bringing it into their core. I like that they have this little rest where they like rest it on their knee for a second before they go to push it up. And it feels like they really try and get like they anticipate here and try and get their weight underneath it to push it up. I'm just going to write nice pauses between the action. Because they show the characters stealing themselves and getting prepared to lift each stage.
Gotcha. Yeah, you don't want to have the motion be too smooth, because then it kind of muddies the action a little bit. You want them to be able to have time to think about what they're doing, react to what they've done, prepare for the next action.
Yeah, like this feels referenced to me.
Oh, cool.
I think that's a difference. Is the pauses and such feel like they've been drawn from observation.
Nice. Hopefully they didn't film themselves falling backwards, or did onto a bed or something.
Yeah, this is nice. Like I would say maybe take it a little bit longer to push it up, like maybe have it ease into that. So have like one more frame or two of them like really trying to, like, they're pushing it up and they're trying to get their body weight underneath it, because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're always trying to get our body weight underneath the thing we're lifting, so that we can use as much of our body as possible.
I used to be able to do like a really dramatic break fall, or like, you know, throw myself up in the air and then like land on the ground. And we did a 1-day film project in university, and they were like, what could we put into this? And I just said, well, I don't know, I can do this. And I like threw myself up in the air and landed on the ground as if I'd been like pushed or punched or something. So we put that in the film with a guy running past me, and he like pushes me out of the way and I just go flying. I'm telling you all this because of Vert saying, always commit to reference, film yourself getting brutally injured, it's for art. But that won me a Cremag.
Nice.
We had the best film.
There's nothing like basing film entirely around the fact that one of your actors can do a physical thing rather than any kind of actual story.
There was a story.
There was a story, this person pushes you over.
No. The story was it was like we equated drugs to shoes, and there was a shoe salesman offering to sell drugs on a street corner, and then these two thugs who only had one shoe ran and tried to like wrest my product away from me.
You know what? That's pretty good. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the spacing here. It's nice. I would say that I would expect... No, you know what? It's good. I would maybe expect the second foot to also fly up. Before it comes back down. Like that. But it's very up to you if you want to do that or not. I'll just write, maybe have second foot fly up, so it doesn't feel like it's just like stuck to the ground.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do it better than I did.
Let's see if they said anything. Unfortunately, I didn't have the free time this week to get this looking finished, so I focused on getting the motion and the timing down. I think that's
the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the Animorning.
Yep, good call.
I struggled with keeping my proportions consistent. I also remembered my grid. Yay.
Yeah, nice job with the grid. Beautiful grid.
Grids make India say yes. I was in a stage dressing room once when I was young, and we were talking to some teens outside. They asked me They asked if we were getting paid, so we said we get paid in jelly beans, and they were like, "Whoa, that's awesome."
Yeah, nice job. Looking good. I really like this overall. I definitely think proportions, the head definitely starts off much bigger. So yeah, I'd say proportions are definitely something to keep an eye on. Again, my advice would be find a frame that you like the proportions of and then keep that as reference on your canvas. You can delete it afterwards, but
That's a good tip.
it just means that you can literally draw your poses over the top. You can like trace your head and bring your head in to make sure it stays the same.
I'll tip
Yeah.
place and trace.
Let's make this the last one because this is number 7
Okay.
and we're at 10:30 our time.
Okay.
So this is Dark Vault. Dark Vault, thank you for submitting.
They will say yes. Make him say yes.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
Brain grip animation. Welcome in. Yay, more animators.
Yeah, I do need all the grids to study I can find. That's true. And thank you for this grid, by the way, Dark Vault. If you love animation so much, you will die for animation. I'll probably die from animation. That's probably more accurate. Hey, Brain Grip Animation. We're doing okay. How are you doing? Let's hit play on Dark Vault's animation and see what we got here.
Let's see what we got.
Hey, we got different shots. Whoa! That is a root vegetable.
Nice.
Very nice. This is very cute. I like this a lot. I like the variety of different shots you're using too. I think maybe some of the shots we could use better and amp up a bit. I think this shot's probably my favourite.
Yeah. I would agree.
I'm just checking the posing. Okay, cool. Yeah, super nice Dark Vault. I really like it. I like that every time you give us something, it feels like it's an excerpt from a larger story.
They said, I tried to be fancy and have a moving perspective during the lifting. Learned that this is not only hard to do, but hides the whole motion and impact it's supposed to have. Choosing a perspective and making the best of it to show what you want is more valuable.
Yeah.
Also, I learned that waiting till the weekends to start is too much stress for me.
Well, you gave yourself a fair amount to do. Like, I'm suspecting that this took you much longer than 3 hours to complete. I do think it's beautiful, though. I'd love to see this completed, like, to a finished degree, because I think it's already working really nicely. So, I won't critique this bit, because, like, this is just the setup and everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, very clearly staged. We can clearly see that this character's about to try and pull this vegetable out. So nice job getting that all set up.
Yeah.
And then we have this shot, which I like. I think that you could potentially stage this character a bit further to the left here, because the vegetable feels a little bit cramped there. I'd also maybe be tempted to put a bit of a Dutch angle on this. Is that just me needlessly complicating things? It's hard to say. Sometimes I'm not 100% sure why I choose to do things. Let me try it and we'll see. Hey Mike, do you have the ruler there?
No.
You keep taking it to scratch your back with.
I don't have it though.
You're the one who had it last.
I don't think so.
Wait. You are. You had it last because you used it to scratch your back with. Give.
It's because it's a good back scratcher.
Okay.
Oh.
There we go. So. Yeah. Sorry, did someone say what's a Dutch angle? A Dutch angle is just when you tilt the camera a little bit. Or a lot of bit, depending on how much of a Dutch angle you want.
A little bit. A little bit. A big bit.
But yeah, I'm thinking give this plant a little bit more real estate on the screen. So it feels less like it's very close to the edge of the screen. And then you can like maybe move this character to like more of here. As they prepare to pull it up. And you'd have them on like a little bit more of a diagonal since we have tilted the camera. So try moving character slightly screen left. It will just give more room for the vegetable, which is almost the focus of the shot. So let me just see what your grid is like currently. Okay, it's back there. Let's see. I'd be tempted to like bring the horizon vanishing point slightly more in to where we are. Like so. It's all nice and in shadow.
It looms.
It loom! And then like this is really nice perspective, having the character lean close to camera like this. I wonder if there's a way to like have the character's face less obscured by the top half of the screen. Like either by having their face crouched down lower. Or something else. Just because it might be nice to have character's face more like here instead.
You could have it so that rather than the grip being like this, it could be angled slightly more like that, so that the leaves are pushed like more
toward the screen.
Mm-hmm. In anticipation of like the lift and the pull up.
Yeah, that's a nice idea, Mike.
Thank you.
I like that. Mike's full of the good ideas. So Mike's saying if you like push this slightly more towards the screen like that.
Oh yeah, Voidink Pen. I'd really love to see your edited fight animatic.
Are you kidding me? Yes! Show us all the animatics!
They're saying watching these remind me I still need to finish it. I'm like, yes, please do.
Maybe have them sink down into their knees a little bit more so you can get that lower position. It's just a suggestion. And I'll just put trying to get character head more on screen. And this is why like the keys are really important, is because the keys are a chance for you to try out these positions and make sure that everything fits before you commit to getting the in-betweens and everything done. And then this would push toward camera. Push leaves into cam. And then this, I think this is the shot that I feel like we could improve. There's something about... So I feel like, for one thing, when they're pulling up here, rather than kind of immediately have them throw their hands out, it feels like we want to see a bit more of the pull to really show like they're struggling to pull it up and then they can't. Because right now it's almost like we're just seeing the end of the motion where they're already like unable to pull it and they're just being thrown backwards.
Yeah. I would say for this shot, being so framed in, like close in on not what they're doing, feels a bit of a strange choice.
That was my second point. Is firstly, I feel like we want to see a bit more of them actually struggling before they throw their hands up. And secondly, like especially when they go back in to pull it up and we don't see what they're doing until we cut here. And I love this shot, by the way. This is a great shot. It feels odd to have like them kind of pushed into the corner of the screen here and does not really be able to see what they're doing. So I think we can amp this shot up somehow. It might just be a matter of us getting this character more center screen and moving the character up with them and then pulling out the camera a little bit more. So again, thinking of where your eye line is, let's push this character to here instead. As they're leaning over, and then as they pull up here, and let's have the pull be like on screen. Damn, drew it on the wrong frame. Up there. Have the camera travel up to follow their motion. Camera. Travel up with motion. So we end up like reframing it essentially here again.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bit higher. And notice I'm drawing the character slightly smaller here because I think we're a little bit close in at the minute. But this is meant to be the same drawing as the one before. We've travelled up with the camera to reframe. And then after we see them struggle for a little bit, then you can have them like be thrown back.
I think it's worth noting as well that the crosshair on the head that India's doing is having them look away from the thing that they're pulling, like they're using their head in the pulling action as well. It creates a nice bit of contrast.
Yeah, it's just like basically getting that entire line of action traveling through the entire body and the face and everything. So then we have them get thrown backwards. By that. And because we're further out, we're not cutting off the top of the head or anything like we would be otherwise. So I need this head to be a little bit smaller actually, because otherwise I'm changing proportions too much. That feels better. There we are. So then we rebound off once we've tried to pull it.
Gotcha. Night, Steiny.
Night night, Steiny. And then I think when we go back in, the most natural thing for me feels like as soon as you dip back in, you then cut to the next shot of the hands wrapping back round.
Yeah.
I do like the acting of them like breathing and getting prepared to pull here. Like, I like this, and I like that you're cutting on the action of them pulling. That's nice. I wonder if we can get a bit of that acting in before they dip down, because it feels a bit too unnatural right now to have them dip down and then hold there with the camera in its current position. So maybe instead, before they dip down to grab it, they could maybe like steel themselves, like roll their shoulder and give it a couple of breaths, or like rub their hands together, or crack their knuckles.
Gotcha.
Or do something to show that they're about to go in for it again. I was going to say roll up the sleeves, but they don't have sleeves. But yeah, it's just this one shot. And then once you've had, I'll put insert cool acting of their anticipation.
And what's the reason you'd order it in that way? Is it just so it feels like it
It's that as
flows
soon
naturally?
as we it's that as soon as we dip down and they dip down to grasp onto the root again, it feels unnatural that we don't cut to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
That we hold on the face. There's just something about it that doesn't sit right, and the most natural thing to do feels like as soon as they dip back down, we follow that movement.
Gotcha. Like
So-
the camera cut is motivated by the character's switch in focus, but the camera doesn't realize it, so we're still just focused on their...
So we have them dip down here. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how big I drew the head so I can try and get it kind of comparable. I probably drew it a bit big on this frame, but hopefully you'll get what I'm going for. So we have them dip down again, and as they dip and get to this position, we cut.
It's interesting. This framing might work in a context where you want to hide what the character is doing. So the shot focus, the choice would be like, if the character was focusing on something that's out of screen, usually that would come in an instance where, like, say you're like, I don't know what this character is doing, but they seem really intent and focused. So my focus is on their reaction to what they're doing, but the mystery is there. But because you've already had the establishing shot show what they're doing, obscuring it is like, there's no mystery there, so it feels off.
That's very true. Also, I always find when people frame things off shot like that, it's so obvious that what is going to come is going to be a reveal.
Yeah.
I think we need to start finding new ways of doing that. This isn't directed at Dark Vault, because that's not what Dark Vault was trying to do.
Fair enough.
But, like, to all ye horror filmmakers out there who like to have a super close framing on a character in a situation before pulling out, or like to have a character doing something with something off screen before revealing what it is. As soon as I see those shots now,
you know what's
I know
coming.
immediately that like things aren't what they seem because we're about to get a reveal. I think we need to find a new way of doing it because they've become too cliched now. That's just me getting on my soapbox and giving my 2 cents.
Fair enough.
So I love this shot. I think now that we are cutting from this dip to this, have the camera like start a little higher, and then just for like 6 frames at the beginning, have it pan down as though we're following the movement. Start a shot panning down. To follow movement. Just for 6 frames or something. And then you can have it framed like this. And then because we're following this and we're hooking up, probably what you want to do, let me just make sure this feedback is on the right frame. There we go. Probably what you want to do is to have the hands actually wrap around. So you would start maybe more like this, with them grabbing it again. And the leg's probably a little bit less bent. And then after your pan, you would be into this position and be pulling up. And I love this. This is like something in the way that you have timed this and spaced it. It does make it feel really heavy and like there's a lot of resistance. I think it's just a slowness of it. Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, or someone who's talking to someone else and you zoom out and they're practicing in the mirror. Yeah, exactly, Ola. That's exactly it. Like, you know what's going to... You've seen that shot so many times that it's almost... Like, it's almost a turn-off to you being focused and engaged in the story to see it.
Like, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. So, really like this shot. Really like this shot too. It's nice to have this character framed in the foreground. And I like this
Camera shake's good.
camera shake as well to emphasize the weight of the object. I think in general, something that I'd say you have a problem with, that I also have a problem with, is that you and I both tend to frame our shots too tight.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, even though the character is kind of the focus, the root vegetable itself is also a reveal and a focus, but it's being cut off by part of the screen. So
yeah,
just pulling out, I think, would really help. And you can keep this character in the foreground.
you can keep that character the same scale.
Yeah. You can keep this all the same because this is really nice. I'm a big fan of this framing. But just have this character X big instead.
Have you got any feedback on your current boarding work where someone has said pull out a bit?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, many times.
Okay.
Many times. The very first board I submitted to that job ever,
Mhm.
like my director, who's extremely good, said, like, I think you and I both have the same problem, which is that
Cool.
like we're always just like 20% too close in on stuff
Mm-hmm.
and need to pull out more.
Do you think that's a symptom of the fact that when you're working in a software like Storyboard Pro, that the frame that you're working in is scaled down from where it would be on screen?
No.
Okay.
What I think it is I think that when I start drawing characters, I start with the faces, and I always draw the faces too big because they're too interesting to me.
Right. Okay.
And then I end up drawing everything else in accordance to that.
Around that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's simply that my favorite thing about drawing characters is drawing their expressions and their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And so my temptation is always to have those super visible and super big on screen.
Okay.
And it means that everything ends up being super zoomed in all the time when it shouldn't be. So it's definitely a problem I have too.
So it's kind of like one of those sequences where they have one of those camera rigs to their chest and it's just pointing at their face,
Mhm.
and where they move, it's always there.
Yeah. But establishing shots are important. Like you could even go more extreme than I've pulled out there. Because remember, I have the same problem. So you could go more extreme and make the character smaller on screen and still like have their expression be readable.
Sorry, I love that.
But yeah, if you're finding that a lot of your stuff, like the top of your character's heads or the top of this root vegetable, is getting cut off, then probably that's something you need to check. Is the framing is probably too close. So just look to pull that out. Like, this is super nice.
I feel like,
Again, like your root vegetable here is being cut off
yeah.
as they slam it down. So I feel like you could push this character more into the distance and still have their acting be clear. And then have this character be like framed in here a little bit. I have the vegetable.
Yeah, it feels like because of the way it's framed, the vegetable gets smaller from one shot to the other, and then gets bigger as it hits the floor and is cropped. Like, cool, it's cropped now. I can make it its actual size. But when it cuts from one to the other, feels like it shrinks. Your bloody shorthand legs with their spindliness.
What's wrong with it?
I see you.
What's wrong with it?
It's fine. It's great.
Are you saying you see me for?
Because I've seen that in boards for a particular thing. I don't think you got it from there.
That's the way I board.
Yeah.
It's like super fast, and it gets the point across. Ha! The point.
The point.
So this would make that perspective be a little bit more extreme. But like consider pulling out more like this. I'm sorry that none of this feedback is like how to make something feel weighty. I feel like you've successfully done that.
Yeah. I think
I've accidentally become distracted by storytelling.
Yes. That's okay though. I
like this because now we can have... Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. I think that this is more applicable to what Dark Vault needs to work on, because they're conveying the weight really well. So you're targeting your feedback. I'm done talking. You can talk now.
I like the way that if we have this, we can have like the clouds be like, oh, we're looking up at the clouds, and the clouds are centered around this turnip. And the sun is rising above the turnip, and there's a sparkle on the turnip. Oh!
So we'll be back tomorrow for more of these.
Hey! Hey now. You're in all.
Get your game on.
You can have some like foreground turnip stalks as well, you know. Push that depth.
Dark Vault, I think this is a cute little like character interaction. Do you reckon you'll work on it more? Bring it into backgrounds and color and all that good stuff. Have you added foreground?
Yeah, you could have a little bug on there, like just minding its own business. What?
Nothing. I am not saying anything.
Yeah, it turns into Gurren Lagann, and you get like hard black shadows and all the characters and stuff from behind. You get the most drama possible.
I mean, I feel like this shot isn't the dramatic shot. The previous shot is the dramatic shot, and this shot is the little cute kind of like I picked one too shot. This shot isn't this. This isn't appropriate at all.
Look, it's making me laugh. Okay.
I know, but I want to clarify for Dark Vault that this would be inappropriate storytelling in this moment. Don't you agree?
I think you could make it dramatic still and have them slog it off to the side. But yeah, they do that. And then this is all in one shot, so probably once they slog it off to the side, I'd cut back to this shot that you have. Because I think you kind of need to frame this action a bit closer like you have it. But since we're cutting back now, I think you could probably just frame them a little bit closer to the center. since this is a new shot now, we have the freedom to reframe.
I see.
And I would just frame this character a little bit closer into the center here. And then maybe even put this character closer to the cam, since we don't need to necessarily frame the root vegetable on there anymore. We can have it more like this. I did their faces a bit too even to one another. You probably want one of them to be higher than the other in scene. Probably the character who's pulling the root vegetable out. Since they kind of have the upper hand, as it were, in this interaction right now, because they're like, I'll just pull out this really easy one. Good job. Yeah, and then you can...
And then she sparkle.
Yeah, it's cute. It's so cute. And then you can have... When the character gives a thumbs up, you can have them lean back a little bit. Like this. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And then we get to like really frame that thumbs up. Yo! Good, nice job. Ba-da-ba-ba. And they're like, oh, you think so? Oh, it was nothing. So,
I think this was the 7th one, so she
Yep.
got through half of them.
I did. So yeah, that'll be it for today. Yeah, I really like the way this turned out too, Darkfall. I think this is a really nice, satisfying, cute character interaction. It tells its own complete story, but you get like the sense of the character's relationship too, in the way that you've handled the acting here. I'd love to see this finished. Yeah, I agree, George. This is a brilliant animation. It's really nicely done. And you're super welcome, Darkbolt. Thank you so much for submitting it to the morning challenge. It was really fun to look over.
Thank you. Do you have the next challenge in mind?
I will beg one more day to think it over properly.
Okay.
But we might go back to doing a boarding challenge. How would you guys feel about that?
I'm cool with it.
We might go back to boarding and we might try and focus more on acting this time. Since we've done a lot of very physical things lately. It's been a lot of, pick up this, put down that, do this physics-based cloth thing, do a fighting action scene.
Or someone delivering bad news.
No! That's so sad. Please don't make me sad. I won't be
Okay.
able to get through them properly. I'll be too busy being sad. But yeah, we'll come up with a good acting challenge for you guys then, and we'll deliver it to you tomorrow.
Oh.
There's not an S in animation, even if plural. Oh, interesting.
But what if it's like they have submitted several animations? That you wouldn't say they
Several
have...
pieces of animation?
Yeah, you would say several pieces of animation, but the S is on the pieces.
Yeah. No! Glitch, don't say that. Please don't! You'll make me cry!
Maybe it is bad grammar.
You'll make the tears come.
Okay, we'll give India another day to think on it.
Oh, interesting. But you want one about surprise in the future. You mentioned off-screen horror earlier. Oh, interesting. Okay. You know what? Maybe the next one will be about building mood. I'm not saying this is what the challenge is going to be, but maybe we'll do something like create this kind of mood through boards in a situation, because it will be really fun to see how people board like horror.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it.
Really think about your compositions and how you use dark and light. Anyway, we will think of it for tomorrow. You want to find someone to raid, Mike? Clyde's going?
Clyde's
Tessa's
going.
Yeah, maybe we should do Clyde. We haven't raided Clyde in ages, and Clyde's film is looking incredible.
We raided Clyde last week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Is that how I know?
Yeah, I was thinking of raiding Go Pirate Software.
Oh yeah, they've raided us lots of times.
Yeah.
Let's go give them some love back.
Alright.
Who's streaming right now out of Go Pirate?
Thor.
Yeah! Thor's our boy. Thor's
Yeah.
the one who always raids us. Thank you so much, Thor. Everyone go and give Thor some love.
Yeah, so they're currently says programming and writing, working on a game called Heartbound, which is a sort of like top-down RPG.
Heartbound is
slash
wonderful.
problem-solving game. We still need to play it.
We do
So-
need to play it all the way through.
Yeah.
You guys, if you enjoy RPGs such as Undertale and Earthbound, then Heartbound you will really enjoy, and I really recommend you picking it up. We played the demo, and the demo itself was incredibly well put together, and the game looks incredible. So please go support indie developers. Check that out. You'll be blown away by it, I guarantee.
Yeah.
Cannot recommend enough.
And that's us on the outro stream. Raid has been initiated. We will be back tomorrow for more of these submissions
Thank you so much, and may the rest
of your day
be filled
with adventure. Take care, everyone. Thank you for coming by.
Bye bye.
And to the new folks, and to the old folks, and to regulars, and to everyone, have a great day.
Go have a good day.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Bye.